Yeah, the Guardian have actually been poking around looking into Carillion. That's that big multinational corporation I've been ranting about on and off in the UK that crashed, leaving billions, hundreds of billions of dollars of debt to be paid off by taxpayers in Britain. There was also some municipalities that were using Carillion services that are also now they're going without those particular services. And so this is actually, for those of us that were just watching from afar, for the average taxpayer as well, that this was all suddenly, had no idea this was coming. And so I think that if my impression is anything to go by, was that this was a surprise to the majority of people. But there are a couple of articles here, and they're also in the description. You can go check those out and read them in full yourself. One of the articles actually says, and it kind of says it all, that revealed Carillion lenders alerted to concerns months before the collapse. Now, these lenders that Carillion knew they were in trouble. They knew they were in trouble, even though KPMG, who did the audit, gave them a clean bill of health, couldn't find it. But they knew they were in trouble. Were looking for money, so they wanted to leverage some debt so that they could continue to provide the public services they have agreed to. So the lenders, which are RBS, Barclays, HSBC, Santander, which first time I've heard of this company, and Lloyds, which everybody's heard of, commissioned the business advisory group FTI Consulting to analyse Carillion's finances last September after agreeing to lend them £140 million. So there was a draft version of this report was released, and they wanted to secure another $360 million from these 5 banks. But the banks were warned by FTI, who are, unlike KPMG, competent, found that there were some major issues with their finances and advised them to don't waste your money, don't put your money there. Now, that's all well and good. So that's bad enough, I should say. But it's actually been revealed in the same article, in this particular one, that the government knew that they were having trouble. And it was really bad. Actually, it was in the other article here, which I'll just read a little piece of this one. The Guardian understands that government officials who are holding weekly meetings to monitor Carillion's health, the government knew about this. They did not believe it appropriate to offer business advice to directors. So the government, the UK, knew this was a problem, and they didn't care to do anything about it. And in fact, this other article, which is over on this screen here, government let slip chance to retrieve £364 million from Carillion. It turns out that there was a plan, an opportunity for the government to work with Carillion to get them over so that they could do a voluntary liquidate and go under, and they could have given the government, rather the taxpayers, they could have paid back those £300 million, £364 million, and the government said, no, let's give the chance. The banks that refused the loans in September, let's give them another chance to try and work with them again and try and lend them the money. And of course, banks aren't stupid. They're in it to make money. They're not going to invest in a waste of space. Unlike the British government, they're absolutely insane, hanging on to, obviously, there's nothing more than an ideological march down the road to oblivion, to paying more for services. But I think at the end of this, I mean, there's a little something, at least I can get out of it, a little bit of comfort, maybe, that at least it's not just the government of Manitoba that's screwing its people with these public services, working with these awful companies. The British government are doing it too. Not very comforting, is it? Little green man. This is the back door to the Manitoba legislature. Now, if you hit the subscribe button now, hit the notification bell, then you won't be surprised when they try to stick something up your back door.